When it comes to taking shots in portrait mode, one of the things to consider other than color and detail and exposure is bokeh. That blurry background you get that makes your focal point, your subject, stand out. In this first set of shots, the bokeh on the Pixel 2 XL is completely off. While it blurs directly behind the subject, it misses the entire top portion of this photo, but somehow manages to blur the top of my friend Sam's hat. The iPhone X and the S9 Plus do a much better job blurring the background. At 100% crop, the S9 Plus comes out the softest throughout, while the Pixel 2 XL's detail is sharp from the face down to the jacket. But overall, let me put it this way, if I had to choose only one to put on Instagram or send to my friends, it would be the iPhone X's. It evenly blurs the background, has good detail on the face, and even though the Pixel 2 XL has better detail overall, its uneven bokeh makes the picture unusable. The iPhone X gets my vote here. In this second set of shots, the iPhone X and the Galaxy S9 Plus handle focusing the subject and the background correctly. The Pixel 2 XL does this as well, but has a lot of uneven blurring in the background. You can see heavy blur on the left, but not as much on the right, and it really throws the picture off. But when it comes to exposure and detail, the Pixel 2 XL is spot on, especially compared to the Galaxy S9 Plus, which is way too bright and way too soft. In this next set of shots, all three do a decent job overall, but again the Pixel 2 XL continues to display an uneven amount of blur, more on the left than the right. It's also blurred the top part of my cousin's hair, while the iPhone X and the S9 Plus continue to provide consistent results when it comes to subject focus, edge detection, and background blur. The S9 Plus is my favorite in this set. Great detail and well balanced with accurate subject and background separation. I do want to point out that the S9 Plus is also the only phone where you can adjust the background blur after the shot. Take a look. The left photo is at its default settings, but the right is with background blur turned all the way up. It can make quite a dramatic effect. This is the first set of shots where the Pixel 2 XL actually does a decent job with the bokeh, and while slightly underexposed, its colors when it comes to skin tone under a very shadowy set of train tracks is my favorite. You can also see it doesn't blow out the back of the building like the iPhone X and the S9 Plus. It's what I hope for when I shoot portraits with the Pixel 2 XL, but this isn't always the case. When I move in for a closer shot, you'll see that the iPhone X and the S9 Plus continue to provide accurate bokeh effects, while the Pixel 2 XL manages to miss the top portion of the background and even blur my friend Mike's eye here. The Pixel 2 XL's single camera setup is definitely making it hard to compete against the iPhone X and the S9 Plus's dual camera setup to measure depth. And while the X and 9 Plus both do well here, the Galaxy's camera offers great detail below the face too. And in this last set of shots, when we shoot on a subject that's farther away, portrait mode had a harder time overall on all three. While edge detection was still better on the iPhone X and S9 Plus, it did miss or blur spots here and there. The Pixel 2 XL again exhibited an uneven amount of blur, and my recommendation is to just shoot closer when it comes to portraits. I did take other shots as well, but the results were pretty much the same. The iPhone X and the S9 Plus shot the most consistent, with more accurate colors on the X than the S9 Plus, which would also sometimes shoot too bright, but both offered great edge detection while the Pixel 2 XL had the hardest time in that department. However, the Pixel 2 XL almost always had the best exposure and skin tone on its subjects. I think all three are capable of producing some great results, but the iPhone X and S9 Plus just do it on a more consistent basis. If the Pixel 2 XL actually had a second camera to help determine depth, I'm sure it'd be a better contender in separating the subject and the background, which is unfortunate because I think it had the best color and detail when it came to skin tone and the actual subject in focus. I know in most cases the Pixel 2 XL really tops the competition with even just one camera, but I would love to see Google add a second camera or a second lens to the Pixel 3 to at least help with measuring depth for its portrait shots. I guess we'll see in about 6 months.